we have a guest host today, Josh. Josh, you want to tell everybody a little bit about you and then introduce Maddie? What do you think?
Sure. So I think we've gone over a previous podcast, but Josh Landspurg, Phoenix firefighter, paramedic, prior service in the military, in grad school, doing my thing, trying to learn diving. It's kind of my therapeutic side hobby. Husband, father of 2 girls. That's the gist.
Nice. And the most important thing is, right before the show, I beat you in arm wrestling. Just tell everybody I did.
I walked in and he just wrapped me up and tapped me with his previous jits experience.
You're like, your arms feel like pencils, but you're so strong.
Some of those skinny guys will surprise you, you know?
I don't know what's going on today. These next 6 podcasts are going to be something else. Oh boy, Maddie, good to meet you. You want to tell everybody a little bit about Maddie?
So we got Matthew Mitchell here, and just correct me if I'm wrong. We got husband, new father in the Marine Corps, spent a ton of time overseas around planet Earth. He went to a bunch of different places. College athlete, nutritionist, trainer, owner of Mitch Fit, guiding people through their nutritional fitness journeys. And what else am I missing? I know there's more. You've got a long resume.
That's about it.
And well-tatted arms.
Yeah, great-looking sleeves.
Those are actually really good looking. I mean,
it's try and hide. If you have tattoos, it makes you look bigger. So that's that's the trick.
Is that what I need to do?
Yeah, just get tattoos. No, actually, when you get tattoos, it like covers up like vascularity and all this. So you get them and you're like, oh man,
where's my vein? The striations are gone.
So we were talking before the podcast about nutrition and various ways to eat, plant-based, carnivore variants of the two. How do you eat?
So like we talked about, like single ingredient foods, and when I do plans for people, that's like the base of it. You know, if it's lived here for 200 years, it grows in the ground, like it's safe. That's how we kind of build the plans for people and how I've always eaten. And, I like the carnivore style. I like the high fat and proteins, but for something that's sustainable lifelong and makes sense for, our job and just like sustainability mentally, whole foods is really animal-based. Whole foods is like it, and it's when I write plans for people, it's super simple because I've been super guilty of this as a trainer over the years of writing plans that look nice on paper, but they're so confusing. Like, this is the recipe for breakfast and your snack and your lunch and your snack and your dinner. And you look at that and you see a week or 2 of that and you're like, this is overwhelming. Like, oh my God. Like, I've started to kind of backtrack from that. And I was like, okay, this needs, like, if I looked at this, would I eat this? I don't want to cook all this. Like, tell me something simple. So when I do these plans for people now, it's like, there's always going to be some kind of lean protein source, single ingredient food, right? That's the base of everything. Mm-hmm. And that's going to depend on their goals, their weight, how much they need to eat. But usually you're safe with like a pound of some kind of lean meat, depending on the size of the person. And then you're going to go, 2 servings of some kind of, fruit or carb source, a couple tablespoons, whether it's fats or other carb sources or protein sources. But they're very simple and it's laid out in just a line. And that's all the foods you need to eat for a day. And I eat that same exact way. And the reason that's good is because you don't have like a specific structure. You just need to eat the foods. I don't care how you break it up. I don't care if you put it in a dog bowl and eat it. Just eat the foods. So it's simple. It gives people like a mental break from like feeling like it's a diet. And you're just like, I just need to eat these foods today.
Yeah.
If I miss a few meals, not a big deal. Get the foods in. And I tell clients like, it's okay if you have a bad day or bad couple days, because I look at the week. Right, I look at your macros over a whole week total, month total. It's like compounding. So to answer your question, I mean, the way I eat is the way I tell my clients to eat. It's whole food. It's animal-based, simple, easy ways to track if you like to track. If not, I teach you ways to just, this is how you can look at it. This is how you can eat it without having to track and stress, because that's also a big friction point for people is sitting there plugging it in their phone. So,
what did you have for breakfast this morning?
6 eggs and 2 chicken sausages.
Yeah.
Dude, we have like the most identical breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's simple.
Well, I mean, starting your day with proteins and fats is like a cheat code. You know, introducing fats right away is incredible right when you wake up. So, you know, I always tell people it's like, hey, if you don't want to track, you don't want to do any kind of diet or anything, just make your first and your last meal high protein and fat. Then keep your carbohydrates in the center of your day, surrounding whatever exercise you do or the most stressful part of your day, energy wise. That's it.
I used to eat like 5 meals a day when I ate plant-based.
Yeah.
And now I eat maybe 3 a day as carnivore. I often just don't get hungry for lunch at all. And even when I eat unlimited amount of food, I can't gain any weight whatsoever. Like literally, my weight has never been more stable. It's like always within like 2 pounds. And it's been like that for like 6 months now. But
So your body found like a homeostasis essentially with eating more nutritious food.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Did you feel like you were eating 5 times a day because the satiety wasn't there? Like you weren't.
Honestly, I think a lot of it was like a carb addiction and a sugar addiction. I think just because I used to drink alcohol like most human beings. I used to have my 3 margaritas, you know, they weren't like heavy duty margaritas, but I did have 3 margaritas a day for pretty much the last decade plus. And, but once I decided I was quitting sugar and carbs, alcohol had to go too. And it took like nothing to quit alcohol. Like literally it was just like nothing to quit alcohol. And in all fairness, I do have like, I went from having maybe like 1,000 drinks a year to like 10. So I'll have a glass of wine on Thanksgiving. And it's going to screw up my sleep though. Like horrible. One drink will destroy me and ruin my next day. So I always keep that in mind whenever somebody's like, hey, you don't want to have wine with us? I have to keep that in mind. But anyway, so back to what you were saying. I don't eat anything out of a box or a bag. Everything is just food. You know, it's
and they kind of say like your cravings will continue until you hit your protein threshold. So if you have a ton of there's 2 reasons why you're having cravings at the end of the night. Most of the time, either you didn't get to your protein goal that your body was requiring for that day, depending on how much energy you were using for that day, or you're dehydrated. Most of the time you can just drink some water and get over it. Yeah. It's like over 40% of the time you're just thirsty. And then people will be like, well, I'll drink cold water and won't get, I'm still hungry. It was like, drink room temperature water, and then tell me how hungry you are. Let your body relax a little bit.
Yeah.
So
what kind of results do you see now? And more than just weight and energy, but do people sleep better when you're putting them on a better diet? And do they just have better clarity in thinking? And what kind of results are people seeing when you straighten out their diet?
Yeah, right away, everybody kind of, once they go from, most of the time people are drinking their calories with protein shakes and protein bars and thinking it's healthy. And they're kind of all over the place. They'll eat heavy meals at the end of the day that have no structure. So when we kind of structure a plan that's more whole food, immediately sleep's one of the biggest things they start to feel better with. Their recovery and energy starts to come around, whether they have motivation more for their workouts, but also the recovery after their workouts, they feel better. At first, when they are eating whole foods, even though I'll put someone in a calorie deficit, whether it's slight or it's pretty large, everybody's like, this is so much food, I can't eat all this. And then after 2 weeks of that, because of the thermodynamics of your body and how you burn food, they're like, oh, I'm so hungry. Like now I need more. So like now their body's like starting to drive more performance and be like, oh, okay, now you're feeding me properly. Now I can, sleep better. Now I can perform better. So other than the initial like weight loss everybody gets, men usually get a faster drop at the beginning, just due to water retention. And then women are a little bit slower, but sleep and then energy is, of course, the next 2 big things from just eating whole foods. And it's not even the exercise, it's the food.
And you had a back surgery, right? And that's been it's ignited a lot of things for you, right?
Yeah. So I had 2 surgeries. Hopefully I'd never have to have another one again, but the next one's a fusion of 4 to 5 levels of my lumbar. And so that's a pretty life-changing surgery if I were to get it, including my career, but also as a husband and a father, and not being able to bend over and pick up my son or do anything that I thought I would be able to do again. So, after this back surgery, the second one, I was just laying in this recliner in my house, couldn't move. My wife's 8 months pregnant. She has preeclampsia and like stroke level blood pressure, so she can't get off the couch. I can't stand up at all. So I'm peeing in like little jars and laying in this recliner for like a couple weeks. And I'm like, this is the second time I've been through this now. And I was so frustrated. And I was like, God, not only am I going to lose all this muscle that I've just put on over the past couple of years from my first surgery, but now if I have one more of these surgeries, I'm going to lose everything. Like I need to change everything, the way I train, the way I eat, everything. So that's kind of what started like Mitch Fit, like the company, to start really like driving more towards like a nutrition based focus. So I basically, at that time when I was laying there, I just eliminated all foods in general. And I just went almost carnivore, like meat. And then I had a little bit of fruit, depending on if I was doing any kind of movement, because I was sedentary.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to gain so much weight if I eat like how I was eating. So, you know, my BMR, like my resting metabolic rate, was basically just like 1600. I don't know what it was at the time. It was low. And I was normally eating 3,400 calories. So I basically was like only eating meat, you know, once or twice a day to hit that. And during that time, I would slowly kind of have a little bit of fruit and add in more things as weeks went on. But my recovery started progressing much faster. I was not in any pain. This time I didn't use any pain meds. I just, like, after 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, holy cow. And I wasn't walking yet. I wasn't doing any movement. And then right at a month, I introduced 10,000 steps. I was sending you pictures, put little ankle weights on. I'd walk 5 miles. It was in the summer. I just like tried to get steps. And then I would just kind of eat the same way, single ingredients. And like my recovery by 8 weeks, I was like, I feel fine. Nice. I'm in no pain. But the crazy part was I didn't gain any weight. I actually got leaner and I felt better. And I was like, wait, I haven't even lifted. I'm not even strength training. I'm just walking and I'm just eating single ingredient foods. Like, there's something to this, you know, the old mindset of eating this much food and this many snacks and meal timing and post-workout carbs and like, which is still great. But like, I just felt like I was trapped in such a small box of like, I have to be this way to gain muscle and be big, and I can't not work out or I'll lose it all. And then all of a sudden I just was forced not to. This injury put me to a place where for months I couldn't. So then I was like, okay, how do I stay in shape without exercising? Yeah. Then I realized how important nutrition was in like daily movement. Sure. And I was like, people didn't know about this. Like, this is so much more important than strength training. Strength training is great, but like, this is it. Yeah. So that's what kind of drove from that back surgery really for me to push for this company. Like, I need to help people that are going through this. I know a lot of firemen struggle with this, first responders, but like people in general, like this is such a simple way. Yeah. You know,
eating right and walking is like 80% of the way to being a super healthy human being. Today was 107 days in a row that I've walked in the morning I walk 3.5 miles, like 8,000 steps. Nice. Every morning. First thing I do, it's like I have my coffee and then just put my shoes on, head right out the door. Then I run into her, Becky, somewhere out there, and I run into Becky's mom somewhere out there too in the neighborhood. And but yeah, it's dramatic. At first, it was like, oh my God, my hip flexors are killing me from yesterday. I'm not going walking today. As I'm putting my shoes on and heading out the door, it's like I refuse to give up on walking. And but yeah, 107 days today.
It's like that. There's a Netflix show. There was like this old Italian guy, and he's like 100 years old, and he's in one of those blue zones. And I'm like, what does this guy do? Well, he eats nutritious food, and then he walks to the bar that's up and down these hills in Italy. He gets his glass of wine, and then he walks back.
Life.
Well, it's elevation gain there.
So he's eating good food.
He's got great calves.
Yeah, he's got great
and
calves.
And he's wasted.
He's getting his steps. He gets his glass of wine, and he's 100 years old. Tell me your secret, sir.
Yeah, I think he did.
It's crazy. And I tell people too, I'm like, if you're not eating your body weight at least or close to in protein, whole foods, and you're drinking your calories, but you're hitting, 4 days a week hard strength training, but you don't even know how much protein you're intaking. And I'm hitting my protein goal with whole foods and just walking every day, I'll be in better shape than you without strength training. If you are not hitting your protein goal and doing daily movement, you're wasting your time. Yeah. You're wasting your time. You're just going to go in circles, going to go redline it at the gym because sweating makes you feel good and gives you that endorphins and makes you feel like you're going to get in shape. And then you're not eating properly. You're not recovering properly. You're not walking. You're not doing the things that actually matter the most. And you're doing this sub 5% or 10% of, your daily total expenditure, which is exercise, but you're not looking at the other big part of it.
Yeah. Do you encourage people to quit drinking alcohol as part of
when they
getting
start,
healthy?
I don't tell anyone like, hey, you shouldn't, but I tell them the benefits of like, hey, if you drink, this is what's going to happen. This is how much, calories are in alcohol. Like just, if you do, if you're going to have a night where you go out and drink and do these things, just know that the next week of your training, your macros, everything will be adjusted. You're going to struggle the first couple of days through your workouts. Like you'll have less calories if we're trying to be in a deficit the rest of the week. Like it's a sacrifice. If you're going to go out and do that, like just know that we're going to make adjustments. But then also know if you get into a stall earlier, because everybody hits a weight loss plateau at some point, and you're continually getting into those stalls and not progressing, and you're still drinking, that's probably why. So I give people the option, unless they get to a point where they can't move at all, and they're like, I'm so frustrated, I can't lose weight, all this is happening, I've been at it for months. I'm like, yeah, dude, no more, the alcohol's no more. Like let's cut all this away.
I've had a profound physical change from quitting drinking alcohol. My joints feel better. My sleep's better. My mood's better. I don't have any sugar cravings whatsoever. I haven't had a candy bar since like the middle of last year. It's just none. I just have no cravings whatsoever. But it was alcohol was driving, like wanting to have ice cream and all that kind of stuff. And I was, I even look at photos of me from even last summer. Like you tell my face is puffy. That's just from like 3 margaritas a night, because she used to make Mexican food left and right. And margaritas, they go hand in hand. I feel like $1 million. I feel 10 years younger since I quit alcohol.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I was just curious about how much you push that in others, because I've certainly seen the benefit of it. I don't like it. I feel stupid when I go out with people now.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, but that's the only thing I really have to get over is not wanting to go, all right, I'll just have one, because it's not one. It's 4.
Well, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Right? Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Yeah. But also, if you're in this place where you're hiring a coach and you want to lose this weight and you have this important goal and your health's on the line, like there shouldn't be any moderation. It should be, blinders are up and you're going straight towards your goal.
For sure.
I understand it's a marathon, but you're going to have to sprint at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's going to suck.
It does suck.
What's your quote, Maddie? Like, I'm going to,
on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I can't sell you the vacation until I sell you the flight. Like we're going on vacation together. It's a 12-hour flight though. Okay. And you're sitting in the middle seat, but I'm going to sit in the middle seat right next to you. Okay. It's going to suck, but it sucks a little less that I'm there with you. And we're going to get there and it's going to be awesome, but not until this 12-hour flight's over.
Well, it's the same thing too. It's like choose your hard, right?
Yeah.
Want to make hard choices now, or you're going to get them later.
That's true, right? Yeah, totally. What how much does do you have folks having them go get blood work, so you just kind of see where they're at nutritionally? Like, holy crap, you feel like shit because you got no B12, or you're crazy low on vitamin D, or your testosterone is not there. It's below the charts.
Yeah. So we just actually, since we were able to kind of expand the company these past couple months, we actually have partnered with a doctor over at Men's Revival, and they help us do blood work if people want to do that. I also have encouraged people to, with blood work, if they're going to do any kind of fasting, whether we do it in the middle of their training periods in a deload phase or at the end of the 6 or 12 months, a water fast of some sort is incredible. I just experienced it for the first time. Same with Josh.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that too.
Yeah, I just got my blood work yesterday, and it was the best it's ever looked.
Nice.
And it was when I was 4 or 5 days into the fast, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, this is legit." So now I saw it on paper, and I was like, "Okay, now I want to give this. I want people to do this."
Yeah.
So,
Maddie, when what'd you go 96 hours?
Yeah.
So my story with this is I'm at the fire station eating lunch, and he's already, I don't know, 3 days into his water fast. And he's trying to talk me into this water fast. And I'm like literally eating my lunch. And I was like, nah, I think I need to be like keto for a little bit or kind of like work my way into it. He's like, why? And I was like, well, I just think I need to prepare mentally. He's like, stop eating. It's just put it away. And right then, like I think I threw my lunch in the trash. And then I went 3 days, and I'd never done a water fast since probably maybe 24 to 48 hours of forced fasting in the military, maybe in survival school or something. But it was him being like, yeah, you can. Just get your mind right. And I think that's what this health journey is. It's like getting your mind right. And it did. I felt great. Lost some weight that was maybe stubborn, that wasn't going anywhere. Maddie said his labs are great. Went 96 hours, and like, he was like FaceTiming. He's like, I'm on fire. I feel great. Like I just got some energy drinks, and I think we just did water, electrolytes, and black coffee, and that's about it.
Yeah. Becky's fasting today. Our producer back there with the migraine.
Yeah. 24 hours.
Nice.
Yeah. And you were saying like it has some like cancer fighting properties when you fast. Like the body just starts randomly attacking cancer just because.
Lots of healing.
Yeah, lots of healing takes place.
Autophagy. Yeah, like the autophagy kicks in at like 72 hours. And I didn't know any of this. We had a coach kind of help us through this process, a friend of ours. But after 72 hours, you go into like autophagy, and it really starts to progress over that like 3 to 5 to 7 day range. And basically what that is your body starts reproducing stem cells, right? So the stem cells you have right now in your body are the ones you're born with, and they're as old as you.
Wow, crazy.
And so they're pretty worn out depending on, how old you are and just what you've done in your life. So the only way to get stem cells is go down to Tijuana and get them injected for 30 grand, and they might not take,
30 grand?
Yeah,
That's
some crazy. There's like expensive treatments you can do. I've looked into it for my back.
Pain or 30 grand. They both hurt.
And it might not take, right? So this is the only way that actually your body will start naturally starting to produce its own stem cells again, new ones. So that was the main reason I was like, okay, maybe this will make my back feel better. Because my back always hurts still. It's like a toothache. It's like a 3 out of 10.
Was that from the fire service or the military?
Fire. Yeah. Both the surgeries were injured on the job in fire. And like, I mean, I've definitely treated my body like an amusement park over the past 20 years with training and lifting and sports. So God knows why, or how long it really was just on the edge. But when I did that fast, of so many more things started happening before like the autophagy. Like right after 72 hours, I started to feel better. I was hungry, I was tired. And then all of a sudden at like 80 hours, I remember telling you that was like the trigger point that I was like mentally on fire. I was like sharp as a tack. I could remember everything that I, needed to do that day. I could multitask because I'm terrible at that. Like ADD was gone. Like I had a few sale calls that day. I just felt sharp, and I was like, this is incredible. I haven't eaten 4 days. Like I was taking videos
what
and telling
physiologically was happening to you that made that happen?
I think my body just finally just detoxified. Like my body just let go of everything. It just, inflammation in my face went away. Like I was actually extremely unhealthy internally and didn't realize it because I'm eating healthy all the time. I'm training well. I'm sleeping well, but something on the inside wasn't right still. And I didn't realize that until how good I felt during the fast. And I was like, wait, maybe this is how people normally feel. And I've just felt bad internally for so long and mentally. And I was like, whoa.
When you were in the military, was it difficult to eat well? I mean,
it is.
I don't know how you
still
in the
can
military.
eat well. And I do have guys that are in the military that I train, and there's I try and make meal plans around like the MREs and stuff like that. But those things are meant to help you survive. So that food doesn't really, it's not the best macro wise, but you can still make it work, choosing and picking what you can eat out of there and not eating the Skittles and all the crap that's in there.
When you're in the military, were you making your own meals or were you doing chow hall?
They
kind
have
of thing?
cafeteria food. So just like your high school, it's like that kind of food. It's not great.
It's above prison food, but below restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And
well, for Maddie being in the Marines, Air Force, and I was with the Army.
Air Force food,
yeah,
too.
Air Force,
yeah.
Air Force has better food.
I think the chow hall, when you get these different, we get these different branches that go to like the Air Force chow hall. They're like, whoa, like you leave your tray there, they come pick it up. It's
really,
oh yeah. But I mean, I was with the Army, so it was a little different. But every once in a while, going to the Air Force base, it's like it's just different worlds. between some of the branches for
Wow.
sure. And you are limited, like on a deployment or whatever, and you got your cook, or you are limited in terms of the things you can eat. But like, I don't want to talk for Maddie, but like being in early 20s, 18, 19, like you're eating everything, right? You're just burning through calories, throwing down energy drinks, cigarettes. Like it don't matter. Just let it ride.
Yeah, and I think you got a lot of grace in your 20s too.
For sure.
Things will slow down, in your 30s and 40s and 50s too. So I just hope, like, if you don't have kids, you're not married, and you're in your 20s, and you're out of shape, you're lazy. I'm sorry. Like, you don't have an excuse. I don't really care what you could tell me unless there's some significant injury or deficit that makes you cannot eat right or exercise. Like,
You have all the time in the world.
you have all the time.
You don't realize how much time you have.
You have all the young, quick twitch fibers, energy. I mean, you just have everything right there in front of you. So, like, if you're not in the best shape of your life in your 20s, one, you can get in your incredible shape quickly, but also, like, dude, what are you doing? You think you're going to get in better shape in your 30s or your 40s or when you're married
Yeah.
or when you have kids? I've had someone's like, once our son is born, I'll get in shape. I was like, what? I was like, you better have a game plan now before, because then you're going to really get tested when you have a child, and you're going to have
sleep
to prioritize
deprived
it.
and stressed out, and
Yeah. And like, you really have to prioritize it. Like, you're like, I need to set 30 minutes and I need to be able to work out. And then, if you don't, I just tell people, like, if you need a gym to work out, a full gym, you don't know how to work out. You should be able to, if you were put in a prison cell, you should be able to find a way to work out. Think like that. Then when you can start adding in dumbbells, kettlebells, or you get the ability to go to a gym, great. You can do so much more.
sure.
But you can do everything with nothing.
Yeah, like everything in high school gym class, jumping jacks, push-ups,
For sure.
like,
Or even if you're traveling and the hotel like gym's not that great. It's got an elliptical, a treadmill, and a few dumbbells and like a medicine ball.
Perfect.
Doesn't matter. Even if it wasn't there, right? Go jump up and down a curb. Go for a run. Like move your body, calisthenics.
Yeah.
Just don't make excuses.
For sure. What do you recommend, Maddie, when it comes to just basic health and nutrition? How do things rank? Like if someone's listening to this and they're just not feeling great and they know their diet's kind of crappy, like what are the first, second, third things they should do to start turning that around?
Yeah. So I would say, like, the first thing, of course, is like your nutrition. But, like, if you don't want to be one of those people that tracks and weighs their food and does all that, just prioritize protein. It is the most important thing. Everybody worries about, oh, I'm eating too many fats or too much carbs. Stop that. Eat protein, eat your body weight in protein or close to it in some kind of lean meat. So, like, 90% and above, especially if you're trying to lose a significant amount of weight, 85 if you're in pretty good shape.
I'm trying to
Like,
lose 100 pounds.
yeah, so definitely over 90% for leanness. Try and eat your body weight in that, and then we'll understand what your total calories are. But, like, if you were to eat a pound to pound and a half of meat a day, and then maybe sprinkle in some eggs and some yogurt if you like to, you will be in incredible shape without having to track.
That's my day.
That's it. You could. I always tell people, you don't want to track food, have a pound or 2 pounds of meat, have 4 to 6 eggs in the morning, have a cup of yogurt, a cup of cottage cheese, or some jerky or whatever, or cheese.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's me.
You can do that every day.
5 eggs, and I either throw in the smash burgers that I didn't eat from last night or the steak from the last night and throw it all in with the eggs, and every single morning. That's how I kick it off. I feel great.
Yeah.
It's great.
So when someone starts prioritizing protein right away, they're getting the benefit of the thermodynamics of protein, right? So protein, whole foods.
What does that mean, the thermodynamics of protein?
So it means, like, food actually burns your body burns calories digesting food. Protein, you burn up to 20, 30% of your daily total expenditure, like, just burning protein. So digesting it whole food style. So if you're eating a steak, your body is torching calories digesting that steak. Not only that, but you're eating a good form of protein, which is great for your body, but then you're also burning calories that is essentially equivalent to a workout just by eating. So just eating whole foods of protein instead of drinking protein shakes and protein bars is going to get you closer to your goal without changing anything else. You could still be sitting on the couch doing nothing.
Yeah.
But if you're eating whole foods,
Yeah.
fruits, vegetables, like you will get in good shape. There will be a change.
How is it, in your opinion, of how you guys are eating in the fire service? I know you guys got to do a lot of snacking. Sometimes you end up missing meals and whatever. How difficult is it to stay on a plan when you're a firefighter?
I would say it's challenging. That's probably a lot of my clients' biggest that I do work with first responders. That's like their biggest like right away request. Like, hey, I don't want to be the guy because so we eat lunch and dinner together as a crew for most stations. Some people bring their food, but other people will not do that if they're roving or they're out. You know, if they're a young guy on the job, they don't want to bring food and not be a part of the community and pitch in for lunch and dinner. So I always tell guys that's totally fine. You know, think about when you eat at the firehouse that, you know, lunch and dinner is about 100 grams of protein. If you're trying to get to 200 grams a day, just for whole numbers, like round numbers for per person. So a pound of meat for the most part is relatively close to 100 grams of protein, depending on how lean it is, right? So you're having half a pound of meat for lunch and dinner. That's usually the standard for everyone on the crew when they pre-shop for food. So you're getting at least 40 to 50 grams for lunch. You're at least getting 40 to 50 grams of protein for dinner. So now you got 100 grams that you is taken care of macro-wise for the day. So you as a adult need to be responsible for breakfast and snacks that get you to the other 100 grams. How do you do that? Especially if you didn't prep, bring food, eat at home. Well, you got to figure out a way to hit your macros. I always tell people at the gas station when you pull out money for shift that day, because we pull out, you know, 15, 20 bucks for chow and kitty. So you go in there and I teach people like, okay, if you have to get a protein shake because there is no whole food options for you, this is how you do it. You know, this is the shake you needed to get. These are the, you know, jerky and the boiled eggs and like all these things you can get at the grocery or at the gas station. You can get 200 grams of protein easily at a gas station, easily. And they can be essentially whole foods other than maybe a protein shake or protein bar.
Interesting.
So I always encourage guys, like, I know eating at the firehouse isn't always the healthiest, but there is a way if you don't bring your food, like pre-prepped food, to still hit 200 grams of protein. Because like we said, protein's the most important macronutrients. Everything else falls to the wayside. Your carbs, your fats, we'll deal with that later. There's days where you need more fats. There's days where you need more carbs. But right now, that's not what we're worried about. We're just worried about you hitting your protein goal. That's baseline. And then you work backwards from that, right? You know you're going to hit your protein goal. Perfect. Like now we can fill the day in with, you know, fruits and vegetables and fats and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how I teach guys, like reverse how to hit your macros at the fire station.
Josh, how is it at your station?
Well, Maddie and I are at the same station, so
I didn't know.
luckily
Wow.
I have my workout partner and nutritionist hanging out with me. That's the benefit. But I think something that we've done, not only with just changing the way we eat, or particularly me, but I think we talked about earlier about getting in steps. So something with at the firehouse is like, you know, you make your food together, and if you're not running a call, you're kind of just sitting there for a while. Usually, you know, customary, it's, you know, you get up when the captain gets up, and then you start cleaning up. But I think we've kind of made a little bit of a change too, where it's like maybe after lunch or after dinner, and we're not running a call, like we get up, we get our steps in.
Really?
We can instead. I mean, you can still talk and have camaraderie, right?
Yeah.
Just do it walking at the station. Even if you've got to make a big lap, depending on your station, or you don't have that much real estate in the back, just get some extra steps in. And I'm sure there's something digesting your food even better once you're getting those steps in after you're done eating.
There's just something about walking. I don't know what it is.
Well-
It's like it's like least I have my best ideas when I'm walking, and I solve problems in my
Stephen
head when
King
I'm walking.
said that too.
Blood flow.
And like yesterday, I texted myself 40 ideas like while on my 1 hour walk, and I don't do that during the day. It's like
How many times are Maddie and I, like, if we're not on a call or we're not training or we're not sitting down and eating, we'll walk at the station, and just exactly like you said, there's ideas coming up for his business, or they're coming up for my writing. I read Stephen King's book on writing, and, you know, he's one of the great novelists of our time. What does he credit to his great ideas? Probably maybe in earlier days was probably some drugs, but he does attribute throughout his writing career walking, because it is that blood flow.
Steve Jobs used to have walking meetings at Apple. They would all meet at his office, and then they just start walking, and everybody's just walking with Steve, and they're just walking through the complex. And I don't know if that was intentional, but it seems like you're going to get some really good ideas when everybody's moving and blood's flowing and people aren't falling asleep in a meeting room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love walking.
And
just love it.
I think that it's tough when we're talking about the fire station and macros. Like there is a lot of, people kind of, if you do bring your food, people kind of give you a hard time. But realistically, like they want the same result you're getting, So educating everyone that whether you bring your food or you pull money out at the gas station and how to hit some food there, or just making the right choices at, lunch and dinner is completely possible. Like you don't have to fall into the stigma of just eating, fried food every third day. Cause I always get I eat healthy on my off days, but then on shift, I eat whatever the crew eats. I was like, so 10 days a month minimum, you're eating horrible. So 120 days plus a year, if you're not working overtime, out of the entire year, almost half, like a third of the year,
You're not
essentially.
setting yourself up for success, are you?
I don't care how hard you train and how good you eat on those days off. Every third day, you're going to slowly compound weight, stress. Like you'll just it might take a while at the beginning, but like it's going to happen quickly once it compounds on top of each other, like an ice cube melting. Like it's just going to start going once it gets past 32 degrees. So
is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to share or make sure folks know before we wrap up?
I just give like everybody for advice on fitness. Stop on one sense, the macronutrients, like just eat whole foods. If you don't want to track your foods, eat a pound of meat a day or two, eat a couple eggs, some yogurt if you want, and then sprinkle in some vegetables and fruits as much as you want. Especially summertime with watermelon. You can eat so much watermelon and there's like no calories to it. And I always tell people, I was like, you can eat a whole watermelon. You won't be able to because you're going to pee your pants, but like try because, that's going to fill you up for days. And the volume it takes up in your stomach is what you want if you're trying to lose weight. Just keep it simple. Don't stress about it. If you have a bad day, just move on to the next day. The weeks and months of compounding macronutrients is what matters. It's not the daily. Same with strength training. Don't think you need some sexy workout plan. Don't treat strength training like a buffet. Okay, you can do the same exercises over and over. Pick a few that you're very good at and you're strong at that target all of the muscle groups, especially the major ones first, the largest ones, and get stronger and progressively overload, which means get heavier and heavier with the correct intensity and correct intent week over week. You could do the same ones 4 times a week and get stronger and have stronger intent with those and get in better shape every week over the year. And you don't need to I need to throw in these crazy kettlebell, like all these crazy workouts. Those are great, but you need to have structure that builds on top of each other. It is not don't treat it like a buffet. It is simple. It is structured. As a trainer, we have overstressed and made it so confusing for people over the years that I feel like finally now it's like the simplicity of eating, training, and walking is right there in front of you. You can do it. You don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Like just keep it simple. 4 times a week, 3 times a week. Don't stress. Get up, walk. You'll be fine. Drink lots of water with electrolytes. Balance your homeostasis of water intake, and then the rest is easy.
I love it.
Simple.
Great advice. Josh?
Simplicity.
Did you get all your questions out?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maddie, awesome meeting you, and congratulations on all the accomplishments with the biz. And thanks for being a firefighter, both of you guys. And Josh, you're an amazing co-host. You want to just hang out for the rest of the day?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right.
We said we're going to do
home.
some jujitsu once we move these tables,
yeah.
right?
Some arm wrestling.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu in a video game, right? All right. Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And we are out.